The cold wind howled across the empty streets of what was once a bustling city. Tall buildings stood like tombstones, reminders of the life that had filled the streets just months before. Alien forces, with their advanced technology, had come to Earth with a single purpose: to destroy humanity. They believed they had succeeded. Far away, deep in the Arctic, something stirred beneath the ice. The aliens had not counted on the super soldiers, Earth's last hope, lying frozen in cryo-sleep. These soldiers were specially designed to survive extreme conditions. They were humanity's greatest warriors, trained for battle, but they were also a mystery to the alien invaders. As the aliens celebrated their supposed victory, they received reports from their scouts about strange signals coming from the Arctic. The commanding officer, a tall alien with sharp features, looked over the data with curiosity. What could be alive in such a cold place? He wondered aloud. He ordered a team to investigate, eager to ensure there were no remaining humans to threaten their rule. Meanwhile, deep within the ice, the super soldiers remained unaware of the alien plans. Each soldier was a marvel of human engineering, enhanced with strength, speed, and agility. They had been placed in cryo-sleep as a last resort when the war seemed lost. But now, as the ice began to crack from the changing climate, a malfunction in one of the chambers triggered an awakening. One by one, the soldiers blinked their eyes open, confusion clouding their minds. They looked around, their memories slowly returning. "Where are we?" one soldier asked, his voice hoarse from disuse. Another replied, "We're in the Arctic. The war. We lost." As they gathered their thoughts, the soldiers felt a surge of anger and determination. They were not dead, they were alive, and they were ready to fight. They had to find out what had happened to Earth, and why they were awakened now. Outside, the alien team arrived, their ships hovering silently above the icy terrain. They landed with a thud, their advanced technology contrasting sharply with the frozen landscape. As they stepped out, armed and alert, they began scanning the area. "There's nothing here," one alien grumbled, his voice echoing in the stillness. But the soldiers were watching. Hidden beneath layers of snow and ice, they observed the aliens with keen eyes. They had trained for this moment, and the instinct to protect their home kicked in. Each soldier shared silent glances, knowing they had to act carefully. Suddenly, one soldier, filled with a rush of adrenaline, whispered, "We need to strike. They can't see us as weak." Before anyone could respond, he darted forward, moving like a shadow through the snow. His heart raced as he approached the unsuspecting aliens. The lead alien, still scanning the area, felt a strange chill run down his spine. He turned just in time to see the soldier leap from behind a rock. In an instant, there was chaos. The soldier engaged the alien scout, demonstrating remarkable agility and combat skills. The alien stumbled back, shocked by the sudden attack. The other aliens quickly reacted, raising their weapons, but the super soldier was quick. He dodged their fire and took down another alien before they could regroup. The surprise of the attack echoed through the alien ranks. They had thought humanity was finished, yet here was a soldier, fighting with a fierce determination. As the skirmish unfolded, the aliens realized they had underestimated their enemy. The soldiers fought with a combination of skill and sheer will, proving that humanity's spirit was far from broken. In the face of overwhelming odds, they had risen once more. As the first skirmish came to an end, the aliens retreated, shaken and confused. They had come to finish the job, but they were met with resistance unlike anything they had expected. And deep in the Arctic, the super soldiers stood united, ready to reclaim their planet from those who had tried to extinguish their very existence. With newfound hope and determination, they began to plan their next move. The battle for Earth was far from over. The Arctic landscape was silent, blanketed in thick layers of snow and ice. But beneath the frozen surface, something was stirring. In the heart of the ice, the cryo chambers hummed quietly as their systems began to activate. One by one, the super soldiers were waking up, shaking off the deep slumber that had held them for so long. Commander Alex was the first to awaken. As he opened his eyes, he felt a rush of cold air against his skin. Confused, he glanced around the chamber. "Where am I?" he muttered, rubbing his eyes. Memories flooded back. The war, the battles, the loss. They had been sent into cryosleep to protect them from the devastation outside. His heart raced as he remembered his team. "Get up! We need to move!" he shouted, his voice echoing in the chamber. One by one, the soldiers began to awaken, their eyes widening as they took in their surroundings. Each soldier was a perfect blend of human strength and advanced technology, designed to survive in extreme conditions. As they stepped out of their chambers, they felt the cold air biting at their skin. "It's freezing!" one soldier exclaimed, pulling up his collar. But the cold didn't matter. What mattered was that they were alive. They had a mission to complete. "Stay alert," Commander Alex ordered. "We don't know what's out there." The soldiers nodded, their expressions serious. They had trained for this moment, and now it was time to put that training into action. As they gathered in a circle, the soldiers exchanged quick updates about their last memories. "We were losing," said Sergeant Lee, his brow furrowed with concern. "But we are not dead yet. We can still fight." Suddenly, a distant noise echoed through the icy expanse. The soldiers turned their heads, eyes narrowing. "What was that?" asked Private Ramirez, her heart racing. They quickly moved to a nearby ridge, using the snow as cover to scout the area. Through the swirling snow, they spotted alien ships hovering above the ground, their lights flashing ominously. "They've come back," Commander Alex said, fists clenched. "They think we are gone for good, but we are still here." The soldiers crouched low, watching the aliens disembark. The aliens were heavily armed and seemed confident in their victory. "We need to gather intel," Alex instructed. "We'll find out what they are planning." The team split up, moving stealthily through the snow. Each soldier relied on their training, moving like shadows, keeping their breathing steady. They had a job to do, and failure was not an option. As they approached the alien camp, the soldiers listened closely. They overheard the aliens discussing their plans to search the Arctic for any remaining humans. "They believe we are all gone," Alex whispered to his team. "We can use this to our advantage." Suddenly, one soldier spotted an alien guard walking alone. "I can take him out," Sergeant Lee said, eager to prove himself. "Just give me the signal." The others nodded, knowing the risks but trusting Lee's skills. With precision, Lee moved silently, his heart pounding. He crouched behind a snowbank, waiting for the right moment. As the alien passed by, Lee sprang into action. In a flash, he tackled the guard, muffling his cries. The soldier swiftly disabled the alien's weapon and dragged him into the snow. "Nice work," Alex praised as Lee returned. "Now we have a prisoner. Let's see what we can learn." They tied up the alien, ensuring he couldn't escape. As the soldiers prepared to interrogate him, the alien's eyes widened in fear. "You think you can win?" he sneered, but his voice shook. "You are just humans." "Not just humans," Alex replied firmly. "We are the last hope for Earth. You have no idea what we are capable of." As they began to question the alien, the soldiers felt a surge of confidence. They had awakened from their slumber ready to fight. And now they had the chance to reclaim their world. The aliens might have thought they had won, but the giants of the Arctic were just getting started. With every answer they extracted from the alien, the soldiers formed a plan. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for the future of humanity. The battle had begun, and they would not go down without a fight. The Arctic air was bitterly cold, but the tension among the super soldiers was electric. They had gathered in a secluded area, discussing the information they had gathered from the captured alien. Commander Alex stood at the forefront, his expression serious. "We know they are here to finish what they started," he said, "but we won't let that happen." The soldiers felt a mix of fear and determination. They were outnumbered and the aliens had superior technology, but they had something the aliens did not: the spirit of humanity. They had trained for this moment, and they were ready to fight. As they prepared their weapons and checked their gear, a sudden noise broke the silence. The sound of alien ships buzzing overhead made the soldiers freeze. "They're searching for us," whispered Private Ramirez, her eyes wide with fear. "What do we do?" "Stay calm," Alex replied, trying to steady their nerves. "We'll set a trap. If they want to fight, we'll give them one." The soldiers moved quickly, using the terrain to their advantage. They dug shallow pits and covered them with snow, creating traps for the unsuspecting aliens. Each soldier took their position, hiding behind rocks and snowdrifts. They waited with bated breath, hearts pounding in their chests. Moments later, the sound of boots crunching in the snow echoed through the air. The aliens had landed, their dark silhouettes contrasting against the white landscape. The soldiers could see them clearly now, 4 aliens, armed and looking confident as they scoured the area. "Now!" Alex commanded, and the soldiers sprang into action. They charged from their hiding spots, catching the aliens off guard. The surprise attack sent the aliens reeling, but they quickly recovered, raising their weapons to fire. The first shot rang out, but it missed as one soldier dove behind cover. Another alien shot back, but Sergeant Lee dodged and countered with a precise strike. The alien fell, stunned, as the humans pressed forward, using their agility and training to outmaneuver their opponents. The battle was fierce. The super soldiers fought with everything they had, relying on their training and teamwork. They used the environment to their advantage, hiding behind snowbanks and rocks, launching surprise attacks on the aliens. "Keep pushing!" Alex shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Don't let up!" In the heat of battle, Private Ramirez spotted an alien trying to flank them. Without thinking, she sprinted toward him, her heart racing. She tackled the alien, taking him by surprise. They struggled in the snow, but Ramirez's training kicked in. She managed to pin the alien down, using her weight to keep him from escaping. "Get back!" she yelled to her teammates as they fought the remaining aliens. The alien beneath her struggled, but she held her ground. With a swift move, she knocked out his weapon and secured him. Meanwhile, Alex and Lee were battling the last two aliens. One of the aliens charged at Alex, swinging his weapon. Alex ducked and rolled, then came up swinging, landing a solid punch that sent the alien staggering back. Lee was right beside him, using his strength to overpower the remaining alien. As the dust began to settle, the super soldiers stood victorious. They had taken down the alien team, but they knew this was just the beginning. The aliens had underestimated them, thinking they could easily crush the last remnants of humanity. Now they had seen that these soldiers were ready to fight. Alex turned to his team, breathing heavily but filled with pride. "We did it!" But this was just a small group. "They will send more, and we need to be ready." The soldiers nodded, their confidence growing. They had fought and won, proving that they were not just survivors, they were warriors. The battle for Earth was far from over, but they now had the strength of their unity and the fire of their spirits to drive them forward. As they began to regroup and plan their next steps, the realization dawned on them. They were no longer just soldiers in cryo-sleep. They were Earth's defenders, and they would fight to reclaim their home from the alien invaders, no matter the cost. The super soldiers gathered in a hidden cave, their breath visible in the freezing air. The echoes of their recent victory still rang in their ears, but they knew the battle was far from over. They had taken down a small team of aliens, but the enemy would come back stronger, and they needed a plan. Commander Alex stood before his team, determination written on his face. "We've proven that we can fight back," he said, pacing slowly. "But if we want to win this war, we need to be smart. We can't just rush in. We have to use tactics." The soldiers listened closely, eager to absorb his words. "The aliens are used to dominating their enemies. They underestimate us because they think we are weak. Let's show them how wrong they are." Sergeant Lee nodded. "We should set up traps and ambushes. Use the terrain to our advantage." "Exactly," Alex replied. "The Arctic is our home. We know it better than they do. We can hide, strike hard, and then disappear before they can respond." The soldiers spent the next few days preparing. They set traps made of ice and snow, digging pits and covering them carefully. They also built snow barricades for cover and used the natural landscape to create hiding spots. With each passing day, their confidence grew. They felt ready to face the aliens again. As they worked, they also trained. They practiced moving silently, climbing, and using their weapons with precision. They shared stories of their past battles, reminding each other of their strength and unity. Every soldier knew that they were fighting not just for themselves, but for the future of humanity. Finally, the day came when they heard the unmistakable sound of alien ships approaching. The soldiers quickly took their positions, hiding behind snowbanks and rocks. "Stay calm," Alex whispered to his team. "Remember the plan." The alien ships landed with a thud, sending snow flying. The soldiers watched as the aliens emerged, their expressions confident. They had come to reclaim the area, unaware of the trap that awaited them. "Now!" Alex shouted, signaling the attack. The soldiers sprang from their hiding places, launching their surprise assault. The aliens were taken aback, their shock quickly turning to confusion as they tried to fight back. Private Ramirez moved swiftly, dodging alien fire as she closed in on one of the soldiers. She threw a snowball filled with rocks, striking the alien and causing him to stumble. "Take that!" she shouted, laughing as she followed up with a quick kick that sent the alien crashing into the snow. Meanwhile, Lee and Alex worked in tandem, coordinating their movements. They covered each other, advancing together and taking down aliens one by one. The soldiers were a whirlwind of activity, their training paying off as they fought with fierce determination. In the midst of the chaos, one soldier spotted an alien commander directing his troops. "We need to take him out," he yelled to Alex. "He's rallying them." Without hesitation, Alex nodded. "Let's go!" Together, they dashed toward the commander, using the snow for cover. They moved quickly, and before the aliens could react, they reached the commander. "Surprise!" Lee shouted, launching himself at the alien and tackling him to the ground. Alex followed up with a swift punch, knocking the commander out cold. The remaining aliens hesitated, their morale shaken. Seeing their commander down, the aliens began to panic. The soldiers took advantage of the confusion, pushing forward with renewed strength. They fought with everything they had, taking down alien after alien, their unity becoming a powerful force against the invading enemy. As the battle raged on, the soldiers felt a surge of hope. They were not just surviving, they were winning. The aliens had come to conquer. But they were discovering that the spirit of humanity was unbreakable. After a fierce struggle, the last alien fell and silence settled over the battlefield. The super soldiers stood together, panting but victorious. They had turned the tide of the battle, proving that they were a force to be reckoned with. Alex looked at his team, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it! But this is just one victory. We have to keep fighting." The soldiers nodded, ready for whatever lay ahead. They had awakened the giants within themselves, and they were determined to reclaim their home from the alien invaders. The fight for Earth was far from over, but together they felt invincible. The wind howled across the Arctic landscape as the super soldiers gathered at their makeshift base. They had just won a significant victory against the aliens, but they knew the war was not yet over. The battle had shown them their strength, but it had also revealed the enemy's determination. They were sure the aliens would return, angrier and more prepared. Commander Alex stood at the front, his expression serious yet hopeful. "We've fought hard and we've won," he began, looking at each soldier. "But we need to keep our guard up. We are not just fighting for survival. We are fighting for our future." Private Ramirez, still buzzing from their recent victory, raised her hand. "What's the plan, Commander?" "We can't just wait for them to come to us." "Good point," Alex replied. "We need to take the fight to them. We've shown that we can win here, but we need to find out where their main base is. If we can disrupt their operations, we can make a real difference." The soldiers nodded in agreement. They were ready for the challenge. They began planning their next move, gathering intelligence about the alien forces and discussing strategies. The bond between them had grown stronger, forged in the heat of battle and shared experiences. As night fell, they set out on a mission to gather information. They moved under the cover of darkness, using their knowledge of the terrain to sneak closer to the alien encampment. The air was thick with tension, but the soldiers were determined. They crept through the snow, staying low and quiet. As they approached the alien camp, they could see the glow of lights and hear the sounds of their enemy preparing for the next attack. "We need to get closer," Alex whispered, signaling for the team to move forward. The soldiers split into small groups, each assigned a specific task. Some would scout the area, while others would listen for important information. Ramirez and Lee worked together, sneaking behind a large ice formation to eavesdrop on a group of aliens. "What are they saying?" Lee asked, keeping his voice low. Ramirez strained to hear, her heart racing. "They're planning to launch a larger attack," she whispered back, eyes wide with fear. "They want to finish us off for good." "Not if we can help it," Lee said, determination in his voice. "We need to warn the others." Just then, an alien guard spotted them. "Intruders!" the guard shouted, raising his weapon. The two soldiers sprang into action, quickly taking down the guard before he could alert the others. They exchanged worried glances, knowing they had to hurry back to their team. When they returned, Alex was already organizing a defensive strategy. "They're planning to attack soon," Ramirez reported. "We need to prepare for their arrival." The soldiers worked quickly, setting up barriers and traps around their base. They were no longer just defending, they were ready to fight back with everything they had. They felt the adrenaline coursing through their veins, knowing that the fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. As dawn broke, the aliens approached. The soldiers could see their ships in the distance, flying in formation. "This is it," Alex said, gathering his team. "We've fought hard, and we've trained for this moment. We are not just soldiers, we are humanity's last hope. When the aliens landed, the super soldiers were ready. They had planned every detail, using the environment to their advantage. As the aliens stepped out of their ships, the soldiers launched their attack. The battle was fierce. The soldiers fought with a strength and courage that surprised even themselves. They moved together, each supporting the other, and their bond gave them power. The aliens were formidable, but they were unprepared for the spirit of humanity that had awakened in these soldiers. "Push forward!" Alex shouted, leading the charge. They fought bravely, using their traps and tactics to outsmart the enemy. Each victory fueled their determination, reminding them of what they were fighting for. Finally, after a long and grueling battle, the last of the alien forces retreated. The soldiers stood together, breathless and exhausted, but victorious. They had defended their home and shown the aliens that humanity would not be so easily defeated. As they looked around at one another, they felt a sense of pride and unity. They had fought for their lives, their families, and their planet. They were not just super soldiers, they were a symbol of the human spirit. Alex raised his hand, a triumphant smile spreading across his face. "We did it! We showed them what humanity is capable of. Together, we will continue to fight for our future." The soldiers cheered, their voices echoing through the Arctic landscape. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. The spirit of humanity had prevailed, and they were ready to continue the fight for Earth, no matter what challenges lay ahead.